Hello, dear subscribers. This is Drake from the Crime Story Diaries channel. Today we will explore a horrifying and scary case. Well, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's get down to the case. In 2019, 20-year-old Keeley Bunker from Tamworth, England worked at Drayton Manor amusement park as a bartender. The job didn't mean too much to her. She always wanted to work with children and was on the lookout for something suitable. Keeley had a brother and a sister, and though her parents had separated, they had maintained a pleasant relationship for the sake of the children. Her mother had a new partner and was happy. Her father never abandoned his children and was present at every opportunity. Keeley grew up sociable and cheerful. She made a lot of friends and acquaintances and would spend her free time helping her aunt, who had a disabled daughter, Keeley's cousin. On September 7th, 2019, Keeley Bunker turned 20, and her friends wished her a happy birthday. She postponed the celebration for a later date. They were all staff at Drayton Manor and were planning a big night out, said their manager. That day was Wednesday, September 18th, 2019, and on that day, an awaited event took place on the other side of the street. On the evening of Wednesday, September 18th, Keeley Bunker waited for a day she had longed for. A ticket to see her favorite rapper, H. Only thing making me happy is seeing H on Wednesday. Hope he sees me and we get married, she tweeted a couple of days earlier. Well, Wednesday, September 18th came. That evening, Keeley met her friend, Monica Reagan. They both lived close to each other in Tamworth, a small English town with a population of 74,000. Friends went, enjoyed themselves at the concert, and then decided to celebrate of Keeley's birthday and its extension in a nightclub in Birmingham. There they were joined by 19-year-old Wesley Street. The three young people drank, danced, joked, and simply had a good time together. There was no way to make them all out as the one who looked more joyful and happy. The night rolled on, and a little after 3 in the morning, they decided to call it a night and head off. A taxi to Tamworth. Keeley, Monica, and Wesley boarded and headed to the latter's hometown. The driver left them near Monica's home, and that was that. By then it was 4 a.m. Keeley and Wesley were neighbors. About a 20-minute walk separated their houses. VDJ, anyway, it's getting dark, VDJ, it's cold. It's a big trek for her. It was going to take her a while, and I said, leave it, Kai. Stay at mine, itty VDJ, TM's pitch black VGJ. It's cold, Monica would remember later. Fighting, I wasn't letting her walk home. She's like, no, Mon, I need to get home, have a bit of rest, need to freshen up. Today held the prospect of securing the coveted position of a teacher's assistant in an elementary school, a dream the young girl had nurtured for a long time. As she awaited the important interview, a certain tension lingered, but the presence of Wesley, her neighbor from the house next door and a longtime friend, might have provided some comfort. She told her friend not to worry about anything, but how wrong she was. Keeley Bunker, age 20, and Wesley Street, age 19, shared a friendship that traced back to their elementary school days. Having grown up together, they shared a deep familiarity. Each morning, Wesley, rising early while darkness still enveloped the surroundings, walked with his frail and petite 41-kilograms girlfriend to ensure her safety. However, as the sun dipped below the horizon on September 19th, Keeley failed to make it to a crucial interview. Unreachable after a night at the club, her parents, particularly her 51-year-old father, Christopher Bunker, grew concerned. At 5 p.m., he reported her missing to the police. Contacting Keeley's friends, Christopher discovered that Wesley Street was the last person to see her the night before. Wesley visited Keeley's residence, claiming he had escorted her to a call box and returned home feeling unwell. He assumed Keeley had safely made it home and remained clueless about her subsequent disappearance. Upon the arrival of a patrol car, Wesley was questioned and placed inside it. Leading them to the call box, Wesley maintained his innocence, expressing some unease when asked about his well-being. Not too well, VDJO, somewhat sadly, you could say, he replied. When questioned about their relationship, Wesley denied any romantic involvement with Keeley. Instead, he emphasized their 15-year friendship. Recounting the events of the previous night at the club with Keeley and another friend, Monica, Wesley admitted to having consumed 3 drinks. While he urged the girls to leave and escorted them to the call box, he went in the opposite direction toward his home. In a somewhat intoxicated manner, he explained, laid in bed, and fell asleep in like. The officers said that they wanted to take the phone from Wesley. Initially, he was against the move. He obviously became anxious and said, "Maybe IVDA Tim Michu mistaken here. But it seems to me that you've J/Tamar making quotations on Keeley VJTM's disappearance." The guy repeated several times that he wished for the police to not scour his Google searches. The more the exchange went on, the more agitated Wesley became. He said that he didn't VDJMT have time to spend in a police car. He pleaded that he needed to go look for his girlfriend, who was missing. He said that he had no idea as to why he would be considered thinking anything like that. The officer had to point out to Wesley that they had a job to do. He then made the reluctant move to hand over his phone to the authorities after a few moments. When the officers asked him for the passcode, he said it was 1122. It was not. He took several moments before finally successful providing the correct code. They then shut off the phone right after they unlocked it so that they could save the battery. In the meantime, Keeley VJTM's family and friends were trying to track her down on their own. They hoped that they saw something that wasn't VDJM there, but with each passing second, the gloom overtook them. That proved to not go on longer. Her uncle found her at 9 p.m. VDJ, just hours after they called her in as missing. His cries immediately started after he saw what had become of his niece. They obviously let everyone know that the situation had concluded despicably. Keeley Bunker VDJTM's body was found in a park not very far from their dwelling. She was lying face down at the edge of a pond. Her black tight leggings and underwear were pulled down and twisted around her ankles. She was wearing sneakers. Street was taken into custody under the accusation of murdering his girlfriend just a short time after they found the body. They asked at the time if he had any questions. He did. "You guys wouldn't feed me when you took me into the cell," he pointed out. "IVJ. Really hungry, man." High school dropout Street ruined his football career and lost his scholarship, claiming that he irked by his conviction. The sports fanatic refused to cooperate with cops and altered his story 4 times under interrogation, insisting that he had nothing to do with the girl DATM's death. Eventually, he confessed that during their play, he jumped on Keeley from behind, causing her to fall and accidentally hit a pole. Footage from street cameras showed Keeley and Street entering the park, and although he insisted that nobody was running scared, the defenseless girl is seen running away looking startled, confused, and looking scared. Among the mountain of scientific evidence were the forensic findings that her attacker took advantage of being on her ground to strangle her to death, and male fluid found on her was matched to Street VDATM's DNA. Traces of his clothing showed that he had come into contact with her makeup during the attack, and a forensic pathologist found Keeley had suffered at least 100 injuries, including cuts and scratches to her head and neck, and deep hemorrhaging on her neck, which is consistent with severe force having been used to strangle her. As the trial got underway, Street altered his account again and the court was told she died in a tragic accident. He told jurors, "As we were walking home, we started to flirt with each other. She was teasing me. It was like a typical way a boy and a girl flirt with each other. As we got to the park, I kissed Keeley because I knew that she would tease me. We just started kissing. Then we started to touch each other, VJTM's body. Then we just started to touch each other. It was all consensual. Yes, she was happy. She was more than happy. I tried to estimate my strength and my own size, and I strangled her to death by mistake. I just strangled her. She did not protest. I could tell she was not resisting. I kissed Keeley goodbye after she was dead, and I carried her over to the pond. The kiss was a small one." He revealed that he spent about an hour rearranging her dead body. He broke branches off trees and bushes, ripped grass, and threw everything onto Keeley's lifeless body. The individual acknowledged revisiting the pond on 5 occasions, a fact supported by the GPS data on his phone. During the court proceedings, Wesley contended that he used branches to cover Keeley, not to conceal her, but to prevent anyone from witnessing her unclothed body. When his attorney inquired about the delayed confession, Wesley responded, "I didn't know how to articulate to others the circumstances of her death because I felt uncomfortable and very frightened. I didn't know how to convey the situation to the police, family, and ordinary people." Explaining his reluctance to hand over his phone for scrutiny, Wesley stated, "I simply didn't want the police to mock my Google history." The prosecution contested Wesley's admission, pointing out scratches on Keeley's neck, suggesting she had attempted to defend herself by scratching Wesley's hand. Close friends of the deceased affirmed that Keeley never saw Wesley as a potential boyfriend or lover. He was always just a friend. In August 2020, Wesley Street was convicted of the murder of 20-year-old Keeley Bunker. He received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 29 years. Keeley, described as the kindest, most caring, and innocent young woman just starting her life, left a lasting impact. Keeley's mother expressed, "I will never forgive Wesley for what he did. My life has changed, and it will never be the same." Christopher Bunker, the grieving father, regretfully stated, "I will never walk her down the aisle. All I have left is sadness and a broken heart. I will never have grandchildren from Keeley." He added that he could only find peace when Wesley Street is buried alongside his beloved daughter. Following the high-profile case, 3 girls acquainted with Wesley Street came forward, admitting they also endured his actions. Subsequently, he was convicted of a series of attacks on 3 girls, 2 of whom were under 18. Wesley received prison sentences ranging from 6 months to 5 years for these cases. There might be more victims who remained silent and continue to stay in the shadows. Thank you for watching this video. Please rate and share your thoughts in the comments. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones.